Hello everyone. So welcome to this webinar. We are very pleased today to have Eloi Gattet with us. Eloi is a CEO and founder of Mercurio, a startup company based in Marseille, and he created this company after having carried out some works in a research lab in Marseille. And today he will present us his journey from working in a research lab to creating his own company. If you are new here, so the MEME student chapter is a group of students based in Marseille, and we organize events to promote photonics, optics, and general topics about science, with some events, and due to the sanitary situation, we mainly organize webinars. So if you are interested, we have already made some events. They are recorded on YouTube. And if you are interested in the project, or if you want to be aware of our next events, you can send us an email or contact us to stay tuned. Today, Eloi will talk 15 minutes or so, and then you will ask your questions. So you can use the discussion, the chat box to ask your questions, and then I will ask them to Eloi.
Okay.
So it's fine. You can start. And thank you again for being here today.
Thank you, Marin. Actually, I don't really know where to start because it's always a bit tough to talk about yourself. So I tried to gather. It was kind of a digging through the last 10 years of PowerPoints and keynotes I did, and it was very interesting to a nice exercise to present you the journey I made over the last years, and on which I'm going on for I hope the next few years. So just to introduce myself, my name is Eloi Gattet. I'm an engineer. I'm an ex-researcher at the MAP laboratory, which is MAP because of modelization and simulation for architecture and cultural heritage. So it's a mixed research unit between the Ministry of Culture, which is by the way, it's not MCC, just MC now. It's Ministry of Culture and CNRS. So I'm the CEO of Mercurio. And as you can guess, this picture is really old. I should really take a new one. So let's start with why I'm here today and why I decided to make my company. Mercurio is a digitization company because this number really shook me when I first read it. It's 95% of the museum and generally the cultural heritage collections are in storage, and they are invisible, really, even for researchers, even for scientists, for historians, for everybody who want to access them. It's really, really hard. So just to make it a bit more clear, when you have one oil lamp on the shelf in the museum, there's 20 more lamps similar in the storage. That's a lot. One object of 20 is in showcase, the rest in storage. And also I made another observation that only 1% of digitization happens to be other, let's say, just other than photography or just documents. Because it's really slow, it's hard. Even in 2021, there's not a lot of solutions dedicated to museums and cultural heritage. And yet, now it's something that starts to get in the workflows of researchers to integrate a bit of 3D merger, 3D digitization, or study some parts, and the tools are getting a bit easier, but it's still very hard to think about massive digitization, and that's where I want to help. Let's go back in time and roughly see how I got to creating Mercurio. In 2006, I was nearly 18 years old, and I started a University Institute of Technology in mechanics. So no relation at all with cultural heritage. And actually, at this time, I was 18. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. But by chance, I found that the RMIT Paris Tech School of Engineer could be accessed after a diploma of University Diploma of Technology, and it was in the Cluny Abbey in Burgundy, and there was a project about which was called Gunzo, about creating a digital copy of the abbey at its peak 800 years ago, and it really hits me like that's what I want to do with my life. I want to work in cultural heritage and digitization. Okay. By the way, sorry, it just burns my eyes. Okay. So I knew what I wanted to do, but how to do it, and I discovered a few months later the technology which is called photogrammetry, which consists of making 3D models thanks to photography. And at 2010 was really the early stages of photogrammetry and automatic photogrammetry with correlation algorithm and automatic orientation of cameras. So it was really the beginning, and it was a breakthrough because with a camera and a quite powerful computer, you could get results close to what was only achievable with the laser scanners. So it was like a 1 to 10 or 1 to 100 relation in terms of price, with a few hundred or 1,000 euros of hardware, you could have almost the same result that with the scanners that cost hundreds of thousands of euros. So I was like, wow, this is amazing. And why doesn't everybody use it? So I made my research and I found out that the MAP laboratory, which was in Marseille, was specialized in developing solutions and acquisition protocols for photogrammetry. And so I went there and I asked for an internship, and I discovered why photogrammetry wasn't that much used, because at the time it was really, really hard to make a consistent and decent 3D model thanks to photogrammetry. Anyway, I finished my studies in 2012 in Marseille on the Master 6, which is called Sciences de l'Information et Systèmes, roughly the same in English. And I was done with school, really. So I got a position at the MAP, and it was a bit of a love-hate relationship between me and research, because I love to create proof of concepts and building stuff, but I hate writing. And at the beginning, the director of the lab offered me a PhD, but he quickly changed his mind when it came to writing a few papers, and it was really hard for me to write papers. I hate this. So first I turned down a PhD project, and then the director of the lab was quite relieved that I turned it down, because he didn't want to to go with me in this project in the end. We got a deal because I have the talk with the director of the lab, and I said, okay, I want to create my own company. Back in 20,000, sorry, in in 2011, I had this talk, and I said, okay, maybe I want to go on a PhD, but mostly I want to create my own company with stuff I can develop with you. And back then, it was something not particularly well seen of to go private after to build a spin-off. Nowadays, it's something very common, and something the CNRS really encourages researchers to do. But 10 years ago, it was not so easy. And yet I had this help from the director. So he said, okay, I'm going to hire you. And when we found some money for you to go on your projects, you'll go. And so in 2013, I was hired. In 2015, after 2 years working at the lab on many different subjects, I got a 70,000 euros project that for me to build my own 3D scanner, which I did for the next 2 years with a patent and a proof of concept in 2016. So I was like, okay, I got a proof of concept. I think I have something that can work, a technology that can work. But innovation is technology when it meets a market. So it was mostly a new technology. And in the meantime, I discovered I know nothing about how to run a company. So I went into an incubation with the Impulse incubator, which helped me a lot, and created Mercurio in 2018. So let's pause this for a moment, and I will show you what kind of technology I was and I still am working with. Earlier, I talked about digitization. So you all know 2D digitization, which is basically photography, and 3D, which is getting a lot more common nowadays. For example, like with photogrammetry. But there's an in-between, because 3D is a bit hard for people to use, and 2D is not does not contain enough information. So in the middle of 2 and 3D, there's 2.5D. What is 2.5D? It's something I'm working with. So it's not photogrammetry, it's called RTI, for reflectance transformation imaging. And it consists of relightable images. How do you make relightable images? With a dome. So a dome is basically a half sphere with lots of lights and the camera at its top. So you can see a dome right behind me. So I built a dome for coins and medals, which is something fully integrated with a Raspberry Pi, and it's a standalone device. Also built, so the dome you can see behind me, which is used for much larger subjects. And actually I have in front of me, but I cannot show you for the moment, the next dome that I'm going to build. So this is really something I'm working on every day. Also, I worked a bit with the Museum of History of Marseille on photogrammetry acquisition. So I digitized 10, let's say 10, 15 stones. So this is photogrammetry. And what's the project behind Mercurio is a sphere, which combines RTI and photogrammetry all in one. And this is the idea of the technology I invented in 2016. This sphere is composed of tens of cameras and computers. So it's a bunch of Raspberry Pis, and all connected through a network of aluminum extrusion. And through the extrusion, I run the power and the network for the system. The idea is that you cannot take the collections out of a museum, so you have to bring the scanner inside. this device is made for fully automated acquisition. So it means you just put an object in the middle of it, and then all the pictures are acquired automatically. So it's able to take RTI and photogrammetry data at the same time. This is the patent that I got in 2016. So the keys of this system is it's a solution that is standalone, that you can transport in a box and just assemble on site. It's versatile because you can change the length of the bars, and then the sphere can go bigger or smaller. And moreover, the idea behind this technology is to acquire in the same time the geometry and the material, and hopefully, because it still doesn't work, merge the two to create some kind of PBR material or just photorealistic 3D models. About the last things I made, so this was this last month. I was in Paris on the Notre Dame project, and I digitized a bunch of it's not claveau in English. It's rib stones, which are the components of an arch. And so I made an automated scanner, which is basically a turntable, 4 cameras and a lot of light, but a turntable which can handle 150 kilogram stones, and something that also fits with the requirements of this site, because everything is polluted with lead. And so the system had to be washed at the end. So this is it, and it worked pretty well. So you see, it's just a turntable, and then close to 500 pictures for each object. And this is the keystone of one of the fallen arch of Notre Dame. So it works. And nowadays I'm working with photogrammetry on one side, RTI on the other one, and I have a useless blue sphere behind me. So entrepreneurship is mainly, if I had one advice, it's just go with the flow. It's something really easy to say, but go with what the customers needs and where money is. And I tried for 3 years to make this thing work, and it still doesn't work. And I did not lose hope to make it work, but nowadays what allows me to make money is what I already did know, not something I invented. This is not interesting. So how about since I created Mercurio in 2018, in 2019 I made prototypes, and it was a website, a platform, a website prototype, another prototype for this sphere, and actually I never met a customer in 2019, and at the same time, the first associate, because I did not start the Mercurio adventure alone, left because he was exhausted by the 2 previous years, and he changed his personal plans. So mid 2019, I had nothing that worked. I was alone. Also, I became a dad, so that's a good point. But it kind of fills the the schedule. 2020, we all been there, lockdown, and actually, I got in the most severe burnout I could get in, and it was a really rough year, and I thought about giving up a lot of times. But you know, sometimes it's just luck, and I met a new partner, and I had this project with Notre Dame, which helped a lot, and and also another project for New Dome with the National Center it's Center of National Monuments, and something really interesting about digitizing the crown jewels of France. So I think this year I'm gonna go nuts, and I hope it's going to work. It's been okay, 20 minutes. I don't want to use your time too much, and I think the best is for you to ask questions, and and if you have any questions, please ask ahead. Um, I should also change this picture, which is 4 years old. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you for this nice overview of what you do and your projects. There's already a question from Faris. You still have to have the object to stand in the sphere. So how do you image the side of the object which is on which it stands?
I also patented a levitation device, which hold no, I'm kidding. You just turn it around, and yeah, there's no other way. You have to think that the objects that go into the sphere are historical objects, so they are valueless. So they have to be to stand on something that reassures, something that make the curators feel confident. And actually, sometimes they don't care about the stand, and quite often the objects are put on just metal rods. So I have like 95% of the object in one time. So that's it. I hope I answered the question right. So Nora.
I think it's fine. Yes. So Nora, did the emergence of 3D museum visits with the pandemic create your new funding for tech like yours?
It's a good question. Actually, I don't know because, as I said, I was in a severe burnout for the last year. It really started 1 year ago, exactly when the lockdown was announced. I broke down, and when I got back to work, it was mostly for the Notre Dame project, which is not correlated with the 3D museum trend. But there is a trend, yes, definitely. There is a need for museums to get back with their publics. So I don't know, but if there's more money for that, there's more demand for sure. But it's not a business I've been looking into. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to get into it because I'm already overbooked with Notre Dame and the other project I mentioned. But yes, for sure, I think it helped a lot.
Okay, and there are also questions about if there are some other applications than artworks, or
About RTI, I think I found a paper on the use of RTI with forensics forensics. That's it. Police scientifique.
forensic, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Also, it's mainly about art. The luxury, comment on dit le luxe, le marché du luxe.
Luxury markets.
Yeah, the luxury market. Thank you, Marin. Sorry. The luxury market is also something that in which I can use this. You have to keep in mind that even though it's massive digitization, it's not free digitization. So the digitization always costs more than a simple picture. So it's interesting for handcrafted objects with a high added value. So luxury, forensics, because sometimes it can help, but Actually, I have a contact in the forensics, in the police scientifique, and I have to get back in touch with them, and I'm going to write that down because it's something that's I'm really looking forward.
Okay. Um, I'm reading the question of there's a question from Louis about the 3D reconstruction. So because you said that for now you are not able to do 3D reconstruction, right?
Yes, the sphere behind me actually it works, and I can make RTI images and 3D models, but I
Okay.
cannot merge the two together. And also I have a bunch of limitation on this sphere because the network is horribly slow. The cameras are not good enough because I use Raspberry Pi version 2 cameras, which are 8 megapixels, but it's not enough. It can work, but it's not the level of quality I was hoping for. So it's just a proof of concept. It's nothing close from a prototype. It's nothing close from going to market.
Oh, we lost your.
C'est bon.
Okay. Okay, and then still on the hardware, what are the cameras that you use? Are these specific cameras or commercial cameras that you can?
So for the Notre Dame scanners, for example, for photogrammetry, I use DSLRs because there's the most versatile cameras. Actually, I just use entry-level DSLRs. The one I'm using it's the one I'm using as a webcam right now, and it's like 500 euros DSLRs. You don't need the higher tech for rigged acquisition, because when you use a rigged acquisition, things are very consistent, so you can have lower expectation on the camera's quality, but still a DSLR is more than enough. And also I'm hoping to use the new Raspberry Pi HQ cameras, which are 12 megapixels on the micro domes and on the RTI domes you can see behind me. So it's not, it's off-the-shelf cameras.
Okay. And then the question also about from Nora about the materials that you can observe, and if the transparent material affect the ability for photogrammetry. And could you do photogrammetry for glass or crystals?
No, nope. It's something that's it doesn't work, and there's no solution except then painting with a shark spray or adding some materials. But no, it doesn't work. You cannot build photogrammetries even with the systems I build. Even though I'm trying, and these questions comes often with also highly reflective objects like gold or gems, and that's the project I'm working on with the National Monument Center. Let me show you something real quick. Wait, because I cannot show you the URL. Okay, I'll do it while I answer the next question.
Next question. And yes, Faris asks how heavy are the final files that you create, and how do you handle the data?
So for photogrammetry, it's always around 100 megabytes. It depends actually on the object, but for 2 million polygon objects, let me show you. It's something in the ballpark of 100, 150 megabytes. But what I'm selling when I'm selling 3D digitization with photogrammetry is not only a 3D model. It's I'm really working and pushing for open data. So I'm also giving to the customer the raw files that got out of the cameras, the orientation file, and the raw point cloud, and then the final mesh. So the whole combine is about three 3 GB per object, and about relightable images. Let me show you. It's only let's just say 6 times heavier than a picture the same resolution. So it's something close to 20-30 megabytes for a relightable image.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, I can show you something. Non, pas ça, c'est partager l'écran. So this is a relightable image, and you see it's really fast actually.
Mm.
And it's a web-based viewer that I'm developing. So this is just I'm not developing. I'm just implementing this viewer, which is based on Relight, which is an open source solution.
Okay.
And also, let me just show you this one. The kind of results I get from iScanner, my 3D scanner in Notre Dame. So, you asked about the size. So they are, 150 megabytes.
Mm.
Yeah, that's it. Come on. I'm loading five 3D models, so that's why it was
Okay.
it was a bit slow. Sorry, but so you can compare also what it looks like. So this is the keystones that I acquired in Notre Dame. Sorry, this is the ribs, and this is the keystone.
Okay. Yes. Impressive.
And so you can see what kind of resolution. So these were acquired in 2 steps because we had to flip it halfway through.
Mm.
But here you can see what it does look like.
Okay. Okay.
So this is just photogrammetry, and it was just taken with a automated acquisition rig.
And how many stones did you digitize for?
So far 70.
70. Oh.
And it was all acquired in 6 days.
Okay.
But actually, I improved the system ever since. So now I'm close to 40 objects per day, 5 per hour. So it's like 12 minutes per object.
Okay.
And this is really fast.
Mm. Yes, I can imagine.
So this is it.
Great. And okay, and there's still some. There's a good question from Nora, as we are PhD students and more related to research. Do you think a PhD is still valuable for working in an engineer and as an engineer in a startup with cultural heritage? And are your customers academic type or Ministry of Culture museum?
I'm really thinking about building, not building, how to say, having a project with the map laboratory and have a PhD student work with me and the lab, so with the CIFRE solution. So it's mostly, I think it's valuable for me if the PhD is purpose created, purposely created for the project, like the fusion of RTI and photogrammetry, or this kind of project, because a PhD is always so specialized that it depends. If you want to make a spin-off from the project of your PhD, yes, you can go ahead, but it's all on you, actually. I cannot. It's so dependent on the people. I cannot answer for everyone.
Okay.
And my customers, yes, they are academic types, because the first customers I had were research laboratories. The Notre Dame project is a public project, so I don't work with private, not nowadays, but I hope in the future.
Okay.
But what I think is, if you want to continue the project you're working on in your PhD, especially on hardware. For software, I cannot. I can talk about hardware because that's what I do. For software, I know nothing, so sorry, I won't be of any help. But about hardware, I think it's quite easy. But what you have to keep in mind if you want to create your company is always go about the customers, and go meet your customers and talk to them. And it's something I heard 1,000 times before, and I did not do for the first 2 years, and I lost a lot of time. And the time you have when you start your company is really precious. It's the most precious thing you have at the beginning.
Because you hoped that you could improve your products.
Yeah, you always want to do better, but
And
think about what you already have and what you can already sell, and then try to redirect your customers that you already have to the technology you really want to sell.
Okay.
I hope, Noah, the answer was what you were expecting, or if you want a more precise, please ask.
And then back to the technology, a question from Luis about the transparent objects. What about using other type of wavelength in the infrared or the near infrared?
There's you should look about Luc Van Gool, which let me show you. He built a multi-wavelength RTI dome, but he doesn't publish anything about glass or transparent objects. So I don't know. I tried something I've never tried. I have a modified DSLR. I don't have it, but the lab have it. So maybe I should borrow it and give it a try. So thanks for the idea. I don't think it's gonna work, but yeah, I can give it a shot. And Faris, about the RTI, I did not try the RTI I tried the RTI on the Keystone, but actually it was a failure because it was a handheld acquisition. So imagine that instead of using the dome behind me, I had to take the pictures, and the guy holding the camera was moving. So I tried, but it was a failure.
Okay, thanks. I don't know if you have some other questions. Yes, maybe to finish, more about your experience, because so you said that you had some very difficult, some hard times, and it was not very yeah a cool journey.
And it's still
What?
doesn't.
Yes. What were the most difficult steps? Was it the beginning to say, okay, I'm going to launch this, or?
No, the beginning is really easy, and it's like a honeymoon at the beginning. But especially, I wasn't alone at the beginning. I was with a partner, which also was a close friend, and so it was the two of us trying to create something, and I was the tech part, and it was the sales part, and he was on the commercial side, and I was on the tech side, but it didn't work. Even though I could not do it alone, so you really need someone to take care of that part, and it's not that easy to find the right person. And it's also something about commitment, and it's a very long journey. I just started to earn money with my company, and it's been 4 years. For when I say earn money, no, I mean I was living off subventions, public money. Let's just say the truth is there's a lot of tools for startups to develop their tech. So I used all of them. The BPI, which is Banque pour l'Investissement, which I had a 30,000 euros envelope to develop a prototype of another dome. I had many small projects like this, but now I really can look forward and sell stuff actually. So the company is making money, just 4 years in the making, and something also I didn't mention, but I could not have done it without my girlfriend, and because it's something that's really time consuming. I mean, you're all PhD students, so you know what time consuming is, but it's a PhD is, let's say, only 3 or 4 years. This is every day for the rest of the until I give up. So it's really stressful. It's something you have to be committed to, and to have someone to support you and who agree with you, because otherwise you cannot make it. So you have to be honest with your partner in life, and hope for the support because it's a long journey, and you will fail a lot, and I'm always failing, and you have to accept failure because you cannot avoid it.
Okay, thank you. I don't know if there are some more questions, but thank you for being here today and sharing your experience. I guess that people enjoyed it. Yes, so then no more questions. Okay, thank you for having presenting this, and
My mail, so just
you can also visit the website.
yeah.
Mercurio
There's a
3D.
new one coming because we were changing now. It's not only 3D; it's Mercurio imaging, because it's RTI. RTI is imaging, so it was a lot of brainstorming just to find a name. Do not hesitate to write if you have questions, and I'd be glad to help and answer more particularly to any kind of question you have, because if you are on the entrepreneur way, I guess you have questions. So thank you for your attention.
Yes, thank you. Have a nice day and good luck for your projects.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.